Welcome to the group chat with Tara Thomas and Amanda Goodman of Faith and Four-Letter Words.
Good Monday morning. I'm back. I think, did I move something with the camera? Because I feel like before when I would lean in, my arm wasn't sticking out, but
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Which is nice to see you. We'll fix the camera later.
Thank you so much. And I just have to say thank you to everyone for the love and the prayers. It was so appreciated. If you haven't been engaged at all with us in the past week, I was in an unfortunate, really head-on collision this past Tuesday, and it was a shock to say the least. And I actually had called her right before it happened, and I had my phone mounted on the dash of my daughter's Jeep that I've been driving when she's in college. So when she didn't answer, and then I thought, oh, I need to call my mom and I need to tell my mom something. So I actually sort of double traumatized my mom because she was on the phone, again, not in my hand, but on the phone through Bluetooth. And I was telling her some story. And then in the middle of this situation where we're, on the phone and I'm just driving in a straight line down a 2-lane road, a pickup truck came into my lane. And when I tell you that it was like a scene out of a movie, I told somebody after she brought up the Pee Wee Herman reference of Large Marge in the semi, it was like Large Marge was coming. The bumper was like feet from my face because the truck was lifted. And so it went up onto the hood of the Jeep. It was awful for my mom because after she heard the crashing, the breaking glass and
you were telling her metal, you were telling her it's
then
bad.
I had to say, I was just in a really bad accident. I'm covered in glass and I have to go, Mom. I have to call 911. And so that was unfortunately how the conversation ends.
Yeah.
Quick technology note. I referenced this online. My iPhone, not because people have asked me, was it your OnStar? This Jeep was a 2011. There was no OnStar. So this was, or at least if it existed, this Jeep didn't have it. It was an iPhone being slammed, knocked out of the holder, and then hitting the windshield. And I have a good strong case on it. And then I had this glass shield. So when it hit the windshield, the impact of the phone triggered Siri's voice to come on. And then she said, I detect you've been in an accident. I'm going to call emergency services. And so as soon as that triggered the call, and I did speak to a 911 operator, and I need to explain this because I've had so many people ask me this. So in your contacts on your phone, if you go to the contact where you have, this is my husband's little emoji, when you scroll down on the phone at the very bottom, there's a section that's emergency contacts, and you indicate through your contact setup that this person is your emergency contact. So my husband, my sister, my mom, and one of my close friends, Darlene, they all four received a text, a pin, which was a location drop saying this person or this number was involved in an emergency. And then when I got by ambulance to the hospital, it updated my location. And so then it was so cute. My friend Darlene, she had been at a doctor appointment or something and couldn't answer. And then when she looked down at her phone, she was like, I knew you were in the hospital because, the phone had told her that I was there based on my location. Technology can be wonderful for this kind of situation because in a span of 30 seconds, 4 close people in my life were notified.
Right.
And I was not in a mental state where I could call everybody. Now, the downside is then if they start frantically calling you and you're in the ambulance, you can't answer.
Yeah, right.
So I just want to say that for me and for you being somebody of a strong faith as well, in these moments, you thank God and you uniquely feel that sense of, okay, my life was spared for a reason. And then you also feel, as these things often do, that perspective is everything when something happens where you realize that life is so fragile and fleeting. And so I was down, really down.
Yes.
And Monday night, I think I hit a low. And then like Amanda said, God was like, I want to break you down even more, right? Because then the next day it was like, bam. And so I wanted to show everybody they're getting way better.
Oh my God,
Here's
the werewolf
all
attack.
the bruising. The steering wheel burned my arm, and then the airbags burned my skin. But here's the good news. I felt nothing because I was in shock. And then I had a lot of bruising on my other, parts of my body.
You said
here.
the steering wheel hit you. When she said the steering wheel and airbag was coming at her between 100 and 150 miles an hour.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Crazy.
I've learned a lot about collision science through the last few days. So when your airbag deploys, the speed is a minimum of 150 to 200 miles per hour. I had no idea. And I told a lot of people, and those of you who've been in a crash will relate. You picture from all those crash dummy videos, you picture like a pillow and you're bouncing off the pillow, and it's not a pillow. It's a force that keeps your body in that split second from slamming against the steering wheel. So the force of the airbag is actually what injures a lot of people, but by God's grace, I'd much rather hit the airbag than anything else. And so my head not being hit and not having that Jeep roll was an absolute blessing. And the tow truck driver who I talked with a couple times, he said, if you had only even slightly turned that wheel, the top heavy nature of the Jeep would have rolled it. So because the sort of head-on collision happened when this guy's truck was in the opposite lane, so it was so fast, I didn't have time to react. So I gripped the wheel, and that kept the Jeep from rolling. So I'm so grateful for everything and for all the love. And I have to say, your reel defending me meant so much. So thank you.
I mean, we ride, like, here's the thing. When somebody says something, whether I get more angry when someone says something about my people, like my family. Tara is my family. So when this person, I mean, this was a couple weeks ago, and if you've missed that reel, a couple weeks ago, Tara, she's had a rough several weeks. So the fact, like, this accident was kind of like, this was the cherry on the crap cake that she's had. And a couple weeks ago, you sent me this message, and there was this page, and they were announcing that Tara's job was going to be eliminated at the end of June because of budget cuts, and people were celebrating this, which I'm like, okay, this is wrong. And then a woman who is a nurse, she's in the healthcare field, who Tara does not know, nor I do not know, wrote, I do not wish her well. So she went out of her way to comment on a site, I do not wish her well. And this is what is really funny. I'm going to say this again, because this person supports an organization that you and I raised thousands of dollars for. So even if you don't like Tara or me, right, you at least should respect us, that we didn't have to donate money, all of the money that we had from something to something that meant so much to so many people. So when she wrote that, I'm thinking, I thought about her in the accident. And I would love to say her name right now. I would love just to say it because she posted it, right? She should get found out. But I don't want to release the hounds because she would deserve it. But I was thinking about her. And I know you won't say it because you are kind and you're like, it doesn't matter. I'm not kind. Like, I just kind of like want to check somebody, like, why are we going to double down on like not wishing people well or not, like, because that's what happened last week. Like, not that she made that happen. I don't want to put that on her, but when you wish that you don't wish them well, real life happens.
Your defense and standing up for me, and for those of you who have friends like Amanda who do that for you, you're so appreciative, because in that moment you do feel so low and you feel like you're kicked when you're down, and then to have somebody who's so public facing, do something that actually elicits a lot of humor in the defense was just what I needed. I mean, it made me feel better, and then it made me laugh because so many people, because of her level of reach, there were so many people really nationwide. There were people in Pennsylvania who saw that reel that, had said, this is crazy. And so, I mean, there was sort of that universal outrage. And then the funniest part is I did have quite a few people that were private messaging me. And then they were like,
who was it?
Or I hope she wasn't giving you any kind of treatment when you
Could
were
you imagine?
hospitalized.
That's what
you
I
know?
was worried about.
So I will say, and I hadn't even thought about this, there were people who said, like, I hope you were looking at the name badges
Were
of
you?
the people.
I
And
would
I
too.
didn't, because when I was on my back with a C collar, I was limited in
Yeah. I should have called down to the hospital. I am looking for blank. I am looking for blank. We'll find it. We know. We know.
So then the other thing, my mom and so many people, they said, isn't it great and wonderful in situations to have a friend like Amanda? And I said, absolutely, because there is a point, and we've all been there, where, as she said, it's nice to think that we're all going to just take the high road in every situation. But when you said, I'm going low, I'm going so low, I'm like an earthworm. I mean, when I watched that, I was crying. I was laughing. I needed that laugh because that was actually hilarious. But it also speaks to what we always like to say. And you put it well when you say, do no harm, but take no S kind of thing. And here's the thing, and let's be clear, being a mean-spirited person is never good for how you engage or, live long-term. But when you're a Christian and when you're a person who wants to be kind and to do good deeds in the world, I think there is a default that some people then go into this mode of like, I have to be a doormat. And then I'm taken advantage of, I'm walked on, I'm spit on, I'm mistreated. And the fact is, like, you say it best, Jesus flipped a table when he came to the courtyard and people were outside the temple and they were desecrating and disrespecting the purpose of faith. It was not to be capitalized on, commercialized. So I would say similarly, when you're a public figure or you're a higher profile person, if something bad happens to you, there has to be somebody who raises the red flag when people then want to pile on. And she was after the attention that comes with
attaching herself to your name,
riding coattails of other people who are more notable. So if she lost her job, odds are there would be no trolls on Facebook that were putting her name and her face and cartoons of her out there, because she probably was not in a position where she was in the arena on the level that we've been. So I don't think people flip the script and recognize, like, oh, how would that feel if like a local hospital was announcing that I was getting fired? And then people were like, bye. Bye. When you did that impression of...
Because that's what it is. I do not wish her well. And then she wrote, like, and I will say things in the tone in which I think that they're being written. So she wrote, I do not wish her well, bye, and a hand emoji. So she was saying it like, I do not wish her well, bye. And I was like, okay. Like, I was ready. And like, so some woman.
When you said that, I was dying. I was like, good thing I don't have internal injuries, because I was laughing and I had no pain.
There was a woman who, like, and very, very kind. She reached out and, she's like, I liked your reel. Well, it was funny. She said, like, Jesus, we learned to turn the other cheek. And so I wrote back and I said, I understand that your intentions, but Peter cut off an ear when they came for his boy. So I think I'm doing okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just kind of like, let's not, there is not perfection in the Bible. One person was perfect. One person.
Correct.
I am nowhere like that person.
And we're nowhere near.
Nowhere even. I couldn't even hold the loincloth.
Like, oh my gosh, that is so funny.
I'm going to.
So the other thing that was hilarious in the moment, it was hilarious. And there was nothing funny about this. The woman, and there are two women that had reached out months ago, that they invited us to come to Cedar Falls for a show, which the new Aldea senior living location in Cedar Falls, and it's open to anybody. It's not just those who are residents. And so we said, absolutely, we would love to come there, picked the date, and as fate would have it, it's this Wednesday. So this woman from New Aldea on like Thursday or Friday, she emails us and she's like, are we not going to be able to have the show? I mean, because at this point she's probably, looking on Facebook, and I look like, as she said, I've been attacked by a werewolf. So it was so cute. So we emailed her back and we were like, the show is a go. Tara's getting better. I can do it, And so my mom, who like Amanda has a very hilarious sense of humor, my mom said, because they had me in that neck brace at the hospital, and they had jokingly said, and we forgot it because we were overwhelmed, my husband and me, but we didn't take it with. And they said, some people like to take these neck braces and have them as like souvenirs, so you could have like a Halloween costume with the brace. So my mom was like, you need to take that brace. You need to wear it on when you walk in with Amanda at the show. And then you need to just rip that brace off and say, I'm okay. I made it. I made it.
Like Oprah
I
Winfrey.
made it through the storm,
like Oprah Winfrey wheeling at her, in
oh
the
yeah, the wagon of fat.
fat.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
so if you are so inclined and have the time, you can join us Wednesday night, this April 29th. I can't believe it's April 29th. That means we're going to have a birthday on
Friday.
What is it, on Friday? A joint birthday, because our shared birthday is May 1st. So New Aldea is in Cedar Falls. The show is from 6 to 8 p.m. and tickets are available on our website, faithin4letterwords.com. I had to get that plug in. We also have new sponsors.
We do have non-sponsors.
Acknowledging.
I'm going to pull this up right now too.
And we want to mention and remind people that the way that this all came about was so unexpected, and it was a huge nod of support to us. A company out of the Des Moines area, they are a marketing firm. They had found us online and they wanted to reach out and really act almost as agents, if you will, for us. And so their team have really pounded the pavement and reached out to other women supporting women-owned entrepreneurial pursuits, businesses of any sector across the state. So we've got locally Splendore, the med spa, sponsoring us in Cedar Falls. Our friend Liz, who is an incredible woman and has owned and operated that med spa for quite some time. And then we've got our friend at the Azalea Lane Boutique.
Azalea Lane Boutique, she's amazing. And then we also have Conoyer Garden Center, and we are really excited. And it's a greenhouse market as well. It's in Ankeny and Grimes. So you want to take the trip if you're not towards the West Des Moines area, because they're gonna make your home bloom this spring. Fresh, vibrant plants, expert advice, and everything you need to bring your porch, your patio, and containers to life, which I'm going because I have a lot of porches that I need to decorate, and I need the advice. So they have the colorful annuals, signature hanging baskets, perennials, houseplants, veggies, herbs, and more. Conoyer is stocked to help you get your home spring ready. The Conoyer Garden Center and Glass House Market in Grimes and Ankeny, and you're going to make this spring your best yet. And I want to let you know that I did that in my news voice.
I loved that. That was a nice throwback. And
it's crazy that it just goes.
Since you are, for basketball or soccer, are usually going to Des Moines multiple times a month.
First of all, I'm telling you what. If
You'll be able to swing through.
If you live in Grimes or Ankeny, Iowa, I absolutely love it there. I mean, it's just new, but yet cozy.
It is. It's like big city vibes with the small town feel.
You're still, because you're not losing that Iowa touch. You're not losing the Midwest nice when you're there. And I love it. Any chance I get to go to Ankeny or Grimes, I'm on it. Like, I mean, I was going to Grimes 3 times a week for my daughter's soccer.
Speaking of, how are you feeling? Oh, we also had to mention the urology place.
Urology
so
Center.
There's a fourth sponsor too, and we wanted to give a shout out to.
They're giving us what they want, but Urology Center of Iowa, they do a lot of women health issues. So here's the thing I want to talk about.
The
pelvic floor and the other uncomfortable. If you have had children vaginally, then you know that you need to hold on, brace yourself, stop walking when a sneeze is coming on. You know what I'm talking about. Guess what? They can fix that. And I don't know why we don't talk about it. Like, it's just,
why should women have to suffer or have to wear those
toys?
Yeah, those.
Not that I know.
Exactly. The sort of almost adult diapers, if there's medical intervention that could actually make your life and your quality of life so much better. And then, as she said, not the stress of like, what if I have leakage and I'm out somewhere and it got through my pants, or I didn't have a change of clothes.
And none of that should be embarrassing. We should have talked about it. And the people at the Urology Center, women's health is one of their top priorities. And that's fascinating. Like, that's amazing to me, because I'm tired of being rushed anywhere I go when I go talk to a healthcare provider. We have different issues. Our issues are worse, right? I'm sorry. Like, I mean, like right now, I mean, I had a hot flash. I thought I was on fire when I was walking in, and it's raining outside because of the hot flash of 2026.
Oh my gosh.
It's
Okay.
insane.
So if you saw on social media, Amanda has posted just yesterday, I think, that your oldest daughter's high school graduation is 3 weeks away.
Yes.
So how are you feeling?
I am actually better than I thought I would be.
Good.
The excitement for her is overtaking like my sadness. I know, like, Gia and I are very, very close, and Gia and I are very close because I am healing my own inner child, right? So I had a great childhood, idyllic childhood. My mom and I didn't have the relationship that I wanted to have, right? I wanted a mom who would sit on my bed, crisscross applesauce, and talk to me about boys, and talk to me about, all this stuff, and be, you know what I mean? And have mother-daughter time. And my mom didn't do that because my mom wasn't raised that way. So my mom really was focused in her work. My mother was very strict and very, it's all learned behavior. She didn't have the relationship with her mom. So when we become parents, we do one of two things, right? We either repeat our behavior or we do different behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to be very intentional, and it's healing me what I needed.
I love that.
And so she and I are very, very close. So when you are very, very close with your child, the excitement of because I know what's on the horizon for her. So I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to find your people. I can't wait for you to step into this next chapter.
That's great. And
I mean,
we're excited. Her party will be coming up. And I think the one thing that Amanda and I have talked about that's hard because both of our daughters went through this. There's so much change happening so quickly. And during that last year of high school, there's kind of that, push and pull of status quo, and yet wanting and needing a change. And so I kept telling my daughter, and I know you've done the same, so much of what seems so important and that sort of little bubble that they're in, as soon as they graduate, as soon as they sort of move on, both, theoretically and literally, you will find that there's so much probably that bothered you or, friendship drama or that.
Doesn't matter.
You won't care because you have all these new relationships, you have all these new opportunities. And so it's really like we're excited for them knowing that's what's to come.
Exactly. Because you and I saw it, when kids are going through something, and there's a lot of kids on the receiving end of bullying, mean girl nonsense right now of all ages.
Or also, as we talk about, exclusionary behavior,
That's
where you're left out of things or feeling that you're not a part of a group of people that are doing things, kind of that FOMO thing.
Sure.
And I think that we uniquely understand that because we used to be in the cool club when we were news anchors and then we were has-beens.
Let me tell you, Tara and I left many places and organizations or a church because when I was a news anchor, I was treated very differently. I was treated very well. Well, I thought it was well. It was really like faux nice. And when we left our high profile jobs as television news anchors, you probably could have set us on fire in the middle of town square and no one would have done anything because it was just like, oh, they're not relevant. We can exploit them no more. We can get nothing from them anymore. And that's the best thing that you can give your kids. We can't say like, oh, it's going to get better. It's kind of like you start tolerating less BS. Right? Because you just come into yourself because then you realize when you're out of school, whether you're in college or in the real world, there's so much more than that lunch table.
If you did not watch the group chat on Friday morning when Amanda was soloing, I would say it was a masterclass in breaking down how we as parents have to be realistic and then also have to have tough conversations that sometimes, as she just described, don't have the after school special, tie it up with a bow ending. And what I mean by that is when you said you don't have to be friends with everybody and you're frankly not going to be friends with everybody. I thought that was such an important point because so many times moms and dads fall into the trap of saying like, oh, they're fine. Just, you'll get over it. Be friends with them. Oh, they'll invite you again. Oh, he didn't mean that. Just move on, And there does come a point when we start to recognize as adults, right, that's not how it's going to play out, because you're not hanging out with that same group of people, and you're all not going to love each other and have the kumbaya moments. And so when we give our children permission, the sooner we give them permission to be okay with not having a seat at every table.
Yeah.
Walking away from people and situations that do not serve us. And then frankly, being sometimes a lone wolf, if you will, that's okay. It's okay. Like, I've never felt more alone than in a work environment than I have the last probably month of work. Because as soon as you find out that your job is being eliminated, you're like the leper in the Bible, where you have sores from head to toe, and people are like, don't look at her, don't talk to her, don't touch her, because I'll get the cooties too, and then they may fire me.
Yeah.
And my mom and Monique and many of the people watching this will relate. It's the same thing when you become a widow, because all of a sudden it's like, if I hang around Joanne, I'm going to be a widow too.
That's horrible.
Or if you get cancer, I don't want to talk to you because maybe I'll get sick. I mean, we don't even realize we're doing this. It's this subconscious bias where we feel that whatever bad is happening to that person might stick to me if I get too close.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And I just think, I think there are so many people who are trying to put you in your place, right? They're just gonna be like, I'm gonna let her know that she's not that special. I'm gonna check her, but they won't do it face to face. They're gonna do it passive aggressively. Like, I'm not gonna look at her in the hallway when she's walking, when she always says hello, good morning, how are you? Are you having a good day? I'm gonna look this other way. You know what I mean? Like, I hope you get it in the throat. Like, I hope someone throat punches you. How dare you? I mean, like, how dare you? You kick someone when you're down and you think that you're like better because you're passive aggressive. Like, I cannot.
And the thing that's so different for us, unlike many adults, they've never been in some of the dysfunction to the level that we were in our television news days. We were in situations where we saw people being fired in front of everyone publicly.
It's like a public
and then
flogging.
Being told, outwardly, when this person I know was clearing out her desk, being told, no, you will booth the show. You will booth the show. And booth the show means go and produce the news.
While she got fired.
Yeah. So right after they got fired, they were like, you will booth the show. So there was like, it was the most traumatic thing. And then many, many other examples, much of which we've detailed. So after you see that and you are like getting, sort of the blow to your own psyche from the trauma, you fall into two camps. You either you have a hardened heart, or you become extraordinarily empathetic. And I would say,
yes,
by the grace of God, Amanda and I became extraordinarily empathetic. So when we see other people going through that, we always say, number one, if it happens to her, if it happens to him, it could happen to me.
1,000%.
And number two, we say, you know what? We've been there. We know how bad it is. However, don't forget, you are a child of God, and this too shall pass.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And so unexpectedly, we've had conversations and encounters and exchanges, never realizing at that time how much it meant to that person. And thank God we were able to pour into them the way that we wish others had poured into us.
And this is what, you've heard things about you, and I have heard things about me, and people being mean and I am so comfortable, and I know one thing is for sure, that we are 100% authentic and genuine. That's it. 100% authentic and genuine. We know who we are, we've been through it, right? So there is nothing that anybody can say that is going to be like, I mean, there's things that people are going to say that I'm going to be like, I'm going to check you. I'm going to check you, because the audacity, I can't take it anymore. I cannot take people who get so brave, because I run into people, and that's where it's funny. Like, I'm thankful that God has removed people from my life, and there's certain people who did so much damage. I don't see them. Like, I don't see them. That's God's protection for them. But God also has a sense of humor. So I know one of these days I'm going to be up in an Ion Hy-Vee, and I'm going to see old Boothang I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait, because it's like, you can't, like, cause I will stand there and smile like a crazy person. I'll just be like waiting, because I'm not built like that. Like, I will not go on social media and post anything passive aggressive, mean. I mean, if I have something to say, I will say it with my chest out and I will say it directly and then I'll be done with it. And then I move on, bless and release, and I move on. It's too much. It's way too much.
So a coworker of mine was very kind, and I talked to Amanda about this. She said, I am so tired of people talking badly about you, and I'm sorry, blah, blah. And I just said, here's the thing. And she's young. I think she's 38. And I said, when you get to be our age, we're in our, she's approaching 50. I'm 50. Well, I'll be 53 on Friday. She'll be 49. I said, when you get to be our age, there is something very special about the maturity and the life experience if we're evolved and mature enough to be able to land here. And that is this: you just do not care the way you would have when you were in your 20s, or I would say even your 30s, or for some people, maybe their 40s. You don't care, because here's the thing, like, we've already lived this feeling and this experience and this lifestyle change multiple times. We've both had to pivot multiple times in our adult lives. We both have been in positions where we were, lying on the side of the road trying to grab Jesus's cloak when he went by, being dismissed by the crowds. We've been there.
Right.
And when you're on or when you're, in that valley, when you're at your low point, you never forget how that felt, but you so appreciate all the things that are going right and the people that have your back, that all of that energy is what buoys you, and everybody else is just sinking in the ocean.
Absolutely. And it's interesting, because the group of people who have been bad mouthing you, okay, and they have in the past had said some things about me. I don't even know who you are, but yet you don't like Tara and you don't like me, yet you're talking about us. So that shows, like, where's the relevancy now? I mean, that's just what it is. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, look at me, but mean girls travel in a pack. They travel in a pack, and then they grow up and they travel in a pack. You know why?
And
Because
they find
the
their
one
connections at work.
Yes. And then they feed off each other, because they have to travel in a pack, because they're insecure, because they know that they're less than, because they can't take you on one-on-one. They know that. So that's why they will go and recruit other people.
The funniest part is, and she and I, and those of you watching, if you've ever been through this, you will totally relate to this. There have been a couple situations where a couple of people, they have never been nicer to me than
when they
found out I was losing my job.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that.
Have a wonderful weekend. And this is a person who's like, never
eat a D.
Like,
that's how I would respond.
I hope you have the best weekend. And you're just like, well, I probably won't. I actually need to find a way to pay the bills and health insurance.
But here's the thing. This is what's also nice. Like, this is what people don't understand. And I think they underestimate you. Like, we know how people move. We know how people move behind the scenes. Like the snake in the bonnet. We know how they move. You're still a snake. We know that you're still a snake.
But we're kind to all the snakes. I'm kind to anyone. And that's the thing. I already know that you probably don't like me. And so that's fine. I still am going to be nice and respectful. And at the end of the day, we're professionals. We for 20 years, and Chris Carter hates it, collectively for 40 years, we had to share the most horrific details of the sickest and worst behavior in society. And we had to do it with a straight face and with composure. And then we had to turn to Mark and a weather guy and be very chipper cheery.
Yeah, it's going to be a wet one.
We understand what it means to maintain a professional demeanor in the face of chaos. In the face of chaos.
That is why I think it's kind of like the Michael Corleone. Like, my dad used to tell me all the time that don't scream at anybody. You're never going to get anywhere. You talk very, very calmly. And it's like, if you've ever watched The Godfather, the Michael there was Santino, who was like crazy, like, Sonny would like lash out at people. And then Michael was very like, so, I mean, like, I want to see these groups of people. I do. And one of these days I'm just going to walk into that building and be like, I know what you did. I know what you did. And like when I do that,
Like I know what we
exit
did
stage
last
left.
summer.
Oh yeah, like but like I know it was like when he kissed Frida, like I know it was you. You broke my heart, and then he gave her the kiss. Like don't play with like a Sicilian girl. Like come on. So it's just for me. It's everybody. I don't know how people. How do you live when you're operating like that behind the scenes?
And then the other thing too, and I just have to say this for those of you that have gone through it. I can think of people we know. Our friend Rebecca, she lost her job earlier this year. She now found another opportunity, and she's very happy. Our friend Melissa was in a tough situation, found a job that now she's enjoying. I mean, we know so many people going through it of all ages, right? But the one thing that I told Amanda that's actually hilarious, I have had so many people say literally like 24, 48 hours after I found out I was losing my job. Did you land anything yet? Did you find another job? And I told Amanda, I said, what I don't want to say, because it sounds like I'm trying to mansplain somebody, but what I wanted to say is think about your job that some of you have had for maybe 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Okay. If you found out on a Monday that you were losing your job, the odds are, if you haven't ever done a job interview in years, if you don't have a current resume that is written in the modern way of search engine optimization, the way people do resumes now is totally different than old school us, back in the 90s, typing on a keyboard. We now have to do everything differently because it's a modern age of AI and scanning resumes through software. So you probably in 48 hours are not going to figure out like how to update your resume to be caught up with the new, the 2020s. And secondly, you're probably going to be still so overwhelmed emotionally that you probably haven't had the wherewithal to reach out to every single person see if there's an opening, land an interview, and get an offer in 48 hours.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, you're still just trying to process the blow of how this is going to impact you short and long term. So, but then my husband, who's always definitely trying to give people the benefit of the doubt, is very kind. And he said, look, he's like, people don't know what to say. So they're just trying to be supportive. So that is so true. So I've tried to give people the benefit of the doubt to not like say, okay, no, I actually haven't had time to do interviews yet. It's only been a week.
Yeah. And sometimes people like, I've realized I'm so jaded, I think, from situations that I know that some people just don't care, but there are so many more. I have to remind myself that there's so many people who genuinely really, really do care. Other people are just nosy.
Yeah, and my mom has said that too.
That's
she said, isn't it wonderful for all the ill will and the hate and the vitriol and the doom scrolling on social media? My mom and I were saying, and I know I told you this, what a wonderful thing when you can crowdsource prayer and support.
1,000%.
And that's what Facebook uniquely does. And thank you for asking for prayers for me, because during my low points last week and during that period when I was getting the scans and not knowing, what they were going to tell me about my long-term health, I could feel that sense of, okay, there's a lot of people that have my back. Amanda and so many others are like thinking of me, praying for me. And then to have strangers come up to me when I was out over the weekend and say, just so you know, a lot of people have been praying for you. That meant the world to me. If there is a sense of a virtual hug, I was being squeezed tightly.
Oh, well, yeah. But there were 2 people who it's a couple, found that out too. They said that I was using your accident for fame. And I was like, and I remember I was like, what? Like, what? Like, and I'm like, okay.
And here's the truth. I wanted her to share that because me getting those prayers meant everything to me. And it was more important to me than anybody's interpretation of how she was using something for ill will.
Yes. I used her accident for clout, to get clout and to get followers on social media. Yes, that's exactly what I do. That is what I've done for the past 25 years. It's good. I did want to bring up something real quick, and completely switching gears. We haven't talked about it. Where are we right now? They have the shooters in custody from the White House Correspondents' Center over the weekend. And if you were watching, you could see the video of our First Lady when I get chills when I think about it, when she turned her head and she said, "What was that?" And you could hear the pop, 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 pop. I do have some concerns that this President Trump, has had 3 attempts on his life.
Correct.
3. This is not a political conversation. This is not okay. Political violence needs to end. This is not okay. People who were on social media celebrating it, I think you need to hit the
that's
pavement.
as sick as what we've seen with all of the support for the guy who killed the healthcare executive.
Absolutely. You can't,
You're not a good person
No.
if you wish somebody to be killed because somehow you don't agree with them politically.
Right. It's just not, yeah. Where are we in this person who drove his
From
manifesto,
California.
and he was like talking about,
Or did he take a train?
he was, there was red flags all this way, but he's this highly educated, he's a teacher. And so it's just, and I give President Trump credit for this when he wants to, like, I'm going to go back out there. And they're like, no, you can't. He's like, no, I want to go back out there. Because he's very much.
He said we can't let the cowards win, and we can't let people that wish to destroy our democracy cancel everything.
Right.
And I thought that was such an important point because we understand
The word cancel.
uniquely how if you don't like someone, you want to just eliminate them from being able to have a dialogue or a forum. That's not how
No.
freedom of speech in a country that is supposed to celebrate, harbor it, and protect it works.
Yeah, it's people. It's like we do that in our daily lives, right? If somebody, we stop following people if they don't align with who we are and what we believe, and you know what I mean. It's like I want different opinions, and I want I don't want everybody to think like me or agree with me, and even though
If you were watching it live, what were you going to say?
I don't even know what I was going to say.
If you were watching it live, it was a troubling scene. Dave and I were watching it, and so she and I texted about it. And the thing that was so bizarre to me is, let's just play this out. If you're in the conspiracy camp and you think that the Butler, Pennsylvania attempt on Trump's life was staged, because many people do, and then they think that this thing with the White House Correspondents' Dinner was staged, then this is what I would sort of offer you. How could every single person under Kash Patel, a part of the FBI, and then to that extent, the Secret Service, how could all those people be in cahoots to go along with a fake assassination attempt, knowing how messy all those, we see it every day. People in every job are messy. You better believe there's messy people in the DOJ.
Oh my God.
So I promise you, with the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, with all these branches of government, there's a lot of Trump haters that are still working there. And do you think those people are all going to, we're gonna fake an assassination to buoy support for Trump? I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll go along with that. I will wear a bulletproof vest and take an oath to serve my country as a Secret Service man or woman. But when the guy runs in with the rifle, oh, that's the guy we're supposed to. Oh, here he comes.
Right.
Come on.
I know.
Think of how silly that is.
I know.
The level of elaborate government control that our country could never have a China, because we're not executing people in the streets, or a Russia where we're all in on it, or the KGB is going to show up at your door. We're in a free country, so we cannot have some of these organized things being executed, because it would be impossible with all the messy people you would have to pay off.
The only thing that I think is coordinated is, it is very odd that this has happened 3 times.
For sure.
How are we letting all these people get so close? Like, I understand that there's people who are so like, a
kid on the roof.
Yeah.
A guy rushing in with a rifle. It's actually, a person hiding in the bushes, in a tree.
Like, come on. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
it's so crazy, because don't we think, and we're wrong to assume it, don't you just assume like everybody was so, scanned, vetted?
You have everybody in that room.
You just assume that everyone.
You have everybody in that room.
Tristan Thompson, Khloe Kardashian's baby daddy was even there.
Oh, for God. Why? Just letting anybody in now. But I mean, like, you have everybody there. You have all these top level government officials on both sides of the aisle in that room. It was basically like the war room, right? Like, in that room. And you let and somebody somehow gets a
Did
gun.
you see how fast he was running? I mean, it reminded me of how, you know, how you're like in that moment when you have the biggest adrenaline
Yeah.
rush of your life.
like-
He was never faster than when he ran
Yeah.
into that lobby of the hotel.
It's insane to me.
It
Like,
is so insane. And thankfully that Secret Service agent who was shot at close range lived because of the bulletproof vest. And I mean, for whatever you think of President Trump, the man is hilarious in some of his remarks on live television, because he actually said in that press conference after a third attempt on his life, he actually said, yeah, he's like, and even Pete Heck said, you know, he doesn't like to be told what to do. And so I
Yeah,
thought that was
that was
hilarious because
Yeah.
it was like, he just can't not
be
say
him.
the quips and the smart alecky lines. And I know some people hate it. And like Amanda and I, that's just,
He's a New Yorker.
He's from the East Coast. That's just how they roll.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, and that's what we say in the show. We're not taking his policies aside. Policies, it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? The reason, like, this is what it is. He is a New Yorker. So that means, again, I'm not talking his policies. He's a New Yorker. So whatever he says right here, he's not going to go behind this wall and flip flop and change. He's going to tell, like, you may not like it, but that's what he's standing on. So for me, I respect it. I respect anybody who's direct. I'm like, oh, I didn't really like what he said there, but okay. Like, he's not. The other thing that's in the headline news, and I was dying to talk to you about this last week, the Diana Rossini. Okay.
Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel. Okay. Let me
So
give you
if you're following this, it's the Patriots head football coach.
and this NFL reporter who it has been rumored by other people in the industry that Diana, she's married and she has a child. It is
named Michael,
which
which is the name of the head coach that she's allegedly having the affair with.
it is rumor. So another reporter called her out. She's like, I'm not surprised. Everybody knows that she's been doing this for some time. She gives women a bad name. She is always sleeping with coaches, you know, yada, to move her way up. So then that girl get fired too, which is ridiculous. But first of all, Diana lost her job. I have heard that about her, that she kind of like.
Well, also the photos were the incriminating element, because there
first it
were
was
photos of him and her frolicking in a hot tub at a resort where they were with friends and they were just talking.
And then the hands linking. And then another photos just came out recently, a couple of years ago, inside a New York City bar where they have been
I
together.
haven't seen that.
Yes, that's another. So this appears to be a long-standing relationship. So here's what's interesting. I don't like Diana at all. I don't think she's a girl's girl. I think she's that one that would put her tight leather pants on to do the interview and flirting. Like, we all know that,
Tight leather
you know,
pants.
every picture she's in when she's interviewing people, she's always wearing these tight leather pants. I do. I think she thought she was real cute. I don't like how she moves. I don't think she's a girl's girl. Don't like how she moves. Don't like how she moves at all. So she gets hurt, or she resigned. I don't know if she lost her job. She got forced out or she resigned. And then Mike Vrabel, here's the thing. He doesn't go to the draft day. And he was like, I'm going to therapy. I'm going to counseling. You need to be going to divorce court. Your wife needs to be taking you to divorce court. And
so
why does he still have his job?
So if you were watching the draft, this was hilarious because I saw it live. The commentators were, you know, and this kid, and, you know, he has had some injuries, but he's battling through, and, you know, he's a great land for the, I mean, and they're doing all their analysis. And then in a very hushed tone, that you could barely hear it because the crowd was so loud and they had a DJ and there was club music. And then they were like, oh, and we want you to know that Mike Vrabel has gone on leave to work on some family issues. And let's go to I mean, it was so funny.
It's so crazy.
They were like forced to read this statement, and they're embarrassed for him. And they're also guys. So they feel very uncomfortable because, hey, we think it's probably cool that Vrabel's, you know, out there with the ladies. And so they were like, and Mike's going to be on leave, and we're whispering, and we're not. And I was like, I could barely hear what they were saying. And I thought that was so awkward. It was so weird.
I just feel bad. So
for the wife.
They've been together. So they were college sweethearts.
And her husband.
Yeah.
Because they found it. Did you see the tweet? They found a tweet on X from like 3 years ago where someone tweeted, are they like a couple?
Gross.
So people saw that and were like commenting on it.
Hey, Mike.
And they got away with it.
Hey, Mike, why don't you worry about like winning in New England?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why don't you
winning? Look at Bill Belichick. I mean, not that Bill cheated, but he has like a 20-something girlfriend, or he did.
I just think first of all, the other thing is this is the headline like every day. And I'm like, they're both scum. Like, why do we care? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do we care? But yet I'm reading it. I'm reading
Oh,
it.
I know.
But for her to be playing like victim, and like she sent out a fiery, and it's the Italian in her. I get it. But she sent out this fiery thing, and then when he was like, it was laughable. Like, this is laughable. I'm not even addressing it. Well, it's real. And here's the thing: when you refuse to be accountable, somebody out there is going to make you accountable. So people are peeling back the layers. Oh, you want to know who's going to check you? I am, because I was in that bar in New York City and I saw you too. And I've been holding on to this for 3 years and I was going to let it lie. Here we go.
I can't believe I'm saying this. To quote Lamar Odom from the Lamar Chloe documentary, whatever happens in the dark will come out in the light.
It's the same. Yeah, absolutely.
When
1000%.
you are living in that sort of sinful nature and thinking that you're going to get away with it, somehow, somewhere, in the end, the light will, shine brightly in spaces and places where many people don't want revelation. And I think we know this, and we see this play out constantly on local news all the way to, the national headlines. Whatever you're doing dirty, at some point, there's a photo, there's a video clip, there's somebody who knows somebody who is going to make it public.
Yeah.
So don't think that you're getting away with all these things, right?
No. And people don't like, it doesn't matter. I think this is true. And I would love to see what people say in the group chat, but I think it's one of those, we don't like it as people when somebody else refuses to take accountability, right? It's kind of one of those things that's kind of like, wait a minute, I'm held to this standard. Why aren't people held to the same standard that I'm held? You know what it reminds me of? When somebody, remember that post that was written about me, but the person who called me a wannabe influencer.
Oh, yes.
Because I said something on my personal page and then it screenshot and went around this community and then said, and this person is trashing me online. And this person had a high profile job. And I was like, this is not okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do that, because guess what? I don't do that. And I can't do that. And I'm held to a different standard.
True.
And you should be held to the same standard. And the best part is, that person was told to remove it because they were checked, because the person running that organization.
That is one of those, I wish I had been a fly on the wall when that conversation.
Right.
So to the comments we go. Thank you, Mom. Joanne Thomas said, I've got your back, girls.
Aww.
All I need is a name and address. I have friends in low places. Thank you, Mom.
Joanne out on these streets.
My mom has my back,
Yes,
and
she does.
yours.
Yes, she
and
does.
she has had to confront a mom and a grandma at my nephew's basketball tournament.
I love
who
this
were
story.
Speaking ill about my grandson, or about her grandson. So
Don't
my
mess with
mom
Joanne.
will say, she will tell it like it is if she has to. Whitney said, just tuning in. So glad to see you're back, Tara. Thank you, Whitney, for the care package. She sent me the nicest care package. Our friend Jenny, who's been getting her own infusions in the hospital, she said they talk about you because if they talk about themselves, no one listens because they are that irrelevant, which is kind of what you were speaking of, that sometimes we talk about people in a way that maybe gives them a level of prominence that we never said we deserved. We never said we deserved that.
No, well, someone said like, oh, so-and-so was saying something about you. And I said, who? And they repeated the name and I went, who? Like, and I'm not saying that I'm better than, like, I don't care. Like, I don't care anymore. I don't care
My
anymore.
Aunt Bonnie said, Aunt Bonnie is glad you were back. Thank you. And
Bonnie also said Joanne will handle it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, she knows. They've been,
thug.
They've been sister-in-laws for decades. Veronica said, I hope that both of you have the best day. Take care. Danielle, good morning, ladies. I am so happy to see you both together. Have a blessed and wonderful week ahead. Thank you all so much. We have had so many, as many of you have, so many peaks and valleys, especially in recent years in our lives. And collectively, it's like, we're kind of like the whack-a-mole when you're at Chuck E. Cheese, and it's like, oh, whack,
yes,
keep him down. Oh,
yeah.
She's back. Amanda's back. She's back. Her post, and I am the same way, where there's like, and we don't do this because of some uncanny resilience. It's like anybody else. We cut, we bleed when we're cut. We cry when we're down. We have a lot of down days, but we cannot walk away from this shared obligation that we feel to try to help other women and to try to support other women, because we know what it's like in those moments to feel that you've been sort of cast aside, isolated, and left for dead.
Yeah. And, people on social media, for instance, that think that their words are going to cut, hurt, do anything. To me, for instance, that's why I'm very protective of Tara, because Tara didn't do a thing to you. She didn't do a thing to you. I understand that I could be a lightning rod and you just don't like me, right? But let me tell you something. Like, I was called a fat effing hippo and told I was unappealing to watch in front of an entire newsroom. I was humiliated and degraded in front of an entire newsroom, in front of peers, okay? In front of peers. And I told that boss to eat a D. So if you think that I'm going to be bothered because you come to my page and say that you don't like me, or you think I'm going to be afraid and I won't step to you when you are running your mouth about her behind her back, you better check yourself. Because there's nothing that you can do. Like, I'm not like,
well,
I'm not flinching. I'm not flinching.
A lot of men, especially, don't know what it feels like to be criticized for their appearance. So I said to a couple of male coworkers who are so kind and so supportive, I said, here's the thing you have to understand about women, especially women who've been in jobs like we were. We were used to, on a regular basis, being called fat and ugly all the time. I mean, people would email us pre-email. They sent us letters where they called the station and told the receptionist, Tara's hair looks awful. And then she would write it in cursive and put it in my mailbox or put it on my desk. And they weren't being mean. They were just doing their job. But so that's the part that people forget. Like, let's flip the script. Imagine right now. Imagine this, all the people that you can think of that you work with, and a person who maybe they've put on a few pounds, maybe they've lost some hair, maybe they've in some ways had a rough health challenge and it's affected their appearance. Now imagine that person being told at a staff meeting, potentially in front of all the coworkers, you look like a fat effing hippo, Mike. I mean, that, you know what I mean? Like, that's how crazy it is. And so when people, for 1 minute, if you would put yourself in somebody else's shoes and you would actually think through what that would feel like, I think you would probably crumble and cry in a ball in a corner.
You would.
Based on some of what it feels like to have never have had to go through it.
Well, I think sometimes it's kind of like, I always think of the movie Big, when he tries to ride, when it's the kid in the beginning, and he was, you must be this tall to ride the right. You must be this tall to insult me. Like, if you're not looking at me eye to eye, you're not insulting me. Because, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, one of my kids. It's like, who are you talking to? First of all, I'm taller than you. So if you're not taller than me, like, I just can't. I can't anymore. And, but it brings us to the 4-letter word of the day. Again, thank you so much to the Urology Centers of Iowa, Conoyer Gardens, in Ankeny and Grimes. You got to get down there, check out their spring specials. Azalea Lane Boutique, and our good friends at Splendore, the medical spa, where they have the Fountain of Youth, otherwise known as Sculptra. It is the Fountain of Youth. I'm telling you.
You look great.
Thank you.
Well, you already looked good because of all the healthy changes in your life, right? So the water,
the no alcohol does it.
Yeah.
The no alcohol. I'm telling you, it's a game changer. The 4-letter word of the day is going to be pour. I want you to step into this week pouring into the things that make you feel better. And pouring into the people who you bring the best out of you. Just, pour into you what makes you better.
Thank you for pouring into me.
Of course, I got you.
Well, not just last week, these last years, but thankfully last week when I needed it most, like, she was there, bringing me the bucket of water when I was going through the fire. The verse of the day comes from Psalms 139. 139 is the chapter, verse 14. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. And if you are going through the valley right now, don't forget everything that has gone right and well in your life, and don't take for granted all those blessings, because you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And that is such a wonderful celebratory element that we always talk about. There's no one else like you. So whatever is unique and special about you, we're grateful that you are here, and we don't want you to feel undervalued, even when people want to kick you when you're down.
Yeah, they're going to check. They're going to try to check you, but just know your worth. Make sure you know where you stand. Put your feet in the stand, dig in, just so those waves don't knock you down. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for all the love for Tara. She has felt it. Nothing meant more than that. Make it a good
That's right.
Monday, April 27th. We're back on Wednesday.
We'll see you soon. Have a great week.
Thank you for watching the group chat. The show is brought to you by the empowering staff at Urology Center of Iowa, Tenoyer Gardens, Azalea Lane Boutique, and Splendor the Medical Spa.